Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us on this Sunday night, Sunday Super Training Power Hour. We definitely have some power houses in the house tonight. If you guys were on the training call, the Songstagram training call on Friday was awesome. And according to Victor, if you were on there, the desktop app is now working, and they are adding thousands of new songs this week to the Songstagram. So that is very exciting information. I hear an echo. I think, Dave, you've got the replay running on in the background. Okay. Okay, guys. Well, on a short note before we get started, me and Dave are trying out a brand new system. As we speak, it is running, it is being tested, and there are callers calling in. And, we'll release more about this. This is a system we did in timeshare for 10 years, kept the phone ringing around the clock. We're just trying to do a little tweak to apply it specifically to I2G and to what we're doing with network marketing. And so we'll have some feedback for you. And if it works out as well as we hope, we'll have a great system for everybody on the team to rely on. And, and the reason we are trying to put things together is because a lot of times the new people come on board, and where most people have the hardest time is, how do I recruit people? And that is why, I've got some of the people on the line with us tonight that we do. Before I get into that, I've got Richard on the line with me. He just came from Boston. As a matter of fact, I have to give my partner, Richard, a big hand. We were down there, me and Dave flew down there this last weekend, and, they put together a fantastic show. This was all part of Reggie's team that came together by an accidental phone call, but Richard was the glue that stuck with the team all week long and did meetings for this team all week long and really has made this team pop. And I appreciate you doing that, Richard. I know that office down there in Boston was a little bit hot, and me and Dave were kind of joking about, I bet Richard is hot, staying in that office doing meetings all day. But I know Richard's the type that does what it takes. Yes, yes. And Richard, he has no air conditioning right now also, just to throw that in there, But, Richard, what can we say? When the heat is on, the heat is on.
The heat is on. That's right. Can you hear me, Farrah?
I do, Richard.
Yeah, great. Well, first of all, thank you very much for that kind compliment. You're doing a great job, and good news about Songstagram moving forward. What I wanted to say to all of you guys is, we had a great week in Boston. That was really wonderful. But wherever you are, what I'm about to say applies to whether you're in Europe or whether you're in South America or whether you're in the United States, or Canada. It doesn't matter. What we teach is the same principles no matter where we are. So Boston, I don't want anybody to get feeling weird. It's the same basic principle. We're a company that shares profits with people. We're unique, we're hot, we're different. Nobody's doing what we're doing. And we've got a compensation plan that has one fundamental to it, and that is going out there and learning the basic fundamental of cycling. How do you cycle? And again, we're training today. We're not going to talk about the basics, but the more you cycle, the more money you make, the more matching checks you make. So the matching check gives you the ability to want to teach others how to cycle more. Then last but not least, what I call the driver in the comp plan is the leadership bonus that gives you the opportunity to go out there and do a certain amount of cycles, and 125, whatever number it is that you're going for, and we basically teach the lowest number, and we teach people how to do that. If you can follow those rules, that's what Faraday talked about bringing in the new person. The most important person on your team is the newest person, the brand new person, because sooner or later they either become the next leader or they become the next person that's not quite as excited. You have to go out there and work with them. We always work with as many of the new people as possible. I want everyone to know when you're looking at your group, everyone that we sponsor, everyone that we bring in doesn't listen to the training and doesn't do what they're supposed to do, doesn't always want or have the desire necessary. So I don't want anyone to feel bad. What you need to understand is how bad do you want it? What are you going to do to bring in new blood? What are you going to do to help move the product? What are you going to do to go out there and do things? And understand the basic. Talking to people every single week. I'm going to be upfront with you. There is nothing more important. Obviously, getting on a hangout's important. Getting on a hangout Tuesday and Thursday when Farrah's doing the opportunity, you need a guest on there. If I'm in a live meeting or we're doing some call or whatever it is, you don't have a guest on there. That's your job, is to talk to people, share the products, and get customers and people want to use the product, and get people to want to come in and want to do I2G. So again, we're looking for people that want to do this business. And what are you willing to do? And what was great, and no matter where I go, whether it's I'm in California or I'm in Boston, I talk to everybody, almost every waiter, every person we met somewhere. The saying came, Rich is going to talk to them. Watch, guys. What is I want it really bad. I have a white, hot, burning desire. We're doing very well, and some of you guys, I don't even feel like we've earned $1. I work as if we're brand new, and I'm recruiting to pay my rent every single day. Faraday does an incredible job. Dave, Susan, we have the desire, so it doesn't matter what we made last week. That's last week. What are we going to do now? And so right now is the 18th of the month today. So really, after today, we got 12 days. Tomorrow's the 13th. So the rest of tonight, so really 13 and 12 and a half days. We got till the 31st of May, and we got Labor Day weekend coming up. So we got to make sure you're going for the number of 125 cycles. What's your plan? How are you going to close out midnight the 31st on Labor Day? And if you're not wondering, have a party, and don't wait till Labor Day to have the party. Have it on Saturday. So you have a couple of days, whatever the weekend is before the 31st. Make sure you're talking to people. 12 and a half days alert. We're getting into the last 10 days of the month, my favorite 10 days of every month. So we've got basically, the 21st is on, I guess it's 18th. The 21st is Wednesday. We got, a week to Wednesday, and then ends. The month ends. So we're sitting here going out and, in a situation where we're going out there and really more than that. We actually have more than that. So we got our 10 days on Wednesday is the last day of the month. So with that being said, what are you going to do between now and the end of the month? Are you going to go out there and be powerful? Are you going to talk to more people? Or are you going to sit there and look and say, here's what I've done. Last week is over. I can't change it. It's done. I can't do anything. Reggie can't. Ronnie can't. No one can. We've done our best, and now it's look forward to do the rest. Those who are out there working every single day, the way we're doing it, you can be successful. But here it is. We want it. A river wants to keep flowing. A river wants to keep flowing. Why does it want to? It just flows and flows and flows. And guess what? The rock succumbs. And it actually erodes. And the river becomes wider and wider each and every year. Oceans are bigger. Why? Because water keeps flowing. It's desire. It's determination. It's persistent. We will persist until we succeed. But what you need to understand now, if you're international, are you on the gaming site and using it? If you're not, members or not, you should be each and every month, because how can you teach others how to use the product if you're not using the product? Again, whatever it is, you're out there, go out there and do it. Here in the United States, we're actually going out there working. We got the Instagram. We got a lot of great stuff with the I2G Touch. What are you doing? And there's some great stuff coming, looking forward to phase 2. And we need to go out there, and there's 314 or 316 were announced on Friday the other day, Emperor's Lab. How many Emperors do you want in your group before it runs out? I want all 316 under somebody in this team. So let's make sure we get it. And the more you go out there and work hard, the more you're going to get it. Remember, only 316 in phase 1, and we're done, and phase 2 starts. So again, we're looking for another, 3 to probably 5-6 weeks from now, we'll be sold out. What are you willing to do to go out there and get as many people as you can? Remember the key, and I'll just close this Saturday. I don't want to take up the whole training. The key is going out there, understanding and setting your why I'm doing this, your want to. Make it strong, your reason why, otherwise you're not going to work hard enough. Go out there and be consistent with effort, and production is talking to new people, following up. If you don't know how to follow up, 3-way with one of us, get them on a call. We'll help you with that. We'll show you how to close. We'll do the basics with you. That's number 2. And number 3 is to go out there and share with the new people a plan of action. are not in business for yourself. I mean, by yourself. You're in business with a group of people. The more people on your team you set a plan for, the easier you're going to find making the leadership ranks, and the easier you're going to find the matching bonuses. And on the way you go. This program pays 65 cents on every dollar. It's one of the best paying programs. The proof is in the pudding. We've already done it. What are you going to do? Remember, last week is over. We're in this week. Do whatever you can to set up the end of this month. The end of the month setup now with 12 days happens in the next 5 or 6 days or 7 days. And then you can set up the last 4 or 5 to close this baby out. So with that being said, I look forward to all of you. I'm working it. I'm excited. I'm thrilled. And you can tell this is going to be a big, big close this month. I think May is going to end up helping a lot of people with in a lot of good ways, financially, emotionally, mentally. And your business is going to be set up for going into the next month and what I do believe phase 2 and closing out phase 1 strong. So with that being said, Faraday, if any questions you have, great. And if not, I'll turn it back to you. Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you, Rich. I love that. You just summarized everything perfectly. I mean, it's very simple, but it laid out like clear as a bell. And before I go on to my esteemed guest panelists tonight, Dave, is there anything you would add on top of that? I know you have the most fantastic vision training. But maybe you could just give the everybody watching here tonight a few words before we move on to the panelists.
Well, there's 2 different people that are going to take that information and disseminate it and put action into it. Those that will are the ones that will score. I'm telling you right now that the new stories are being developed right now. They got started this week. You're going to see them all start emerging within the week. See, we watch the figs every Friday. We watch our figs. We watch you. We watch what's going on. When people call, I know how much business they've got going on, okay? We track the people that are doing it, okay, versus the ones that say they're doing it. And the difference is the end of the week is the check. And that's what Richard's talking about. See, because it doesn't matter. We know what we're going to go do, okay? And we're going to do it with or without you. It's more fun with you, but we're doing it, okay? We crunch that clock to the minute on a Friday. Anybody that's ever tried to get us on a Friday knows that. We are pounding that clock. We're steady tallying up and steady watching who's earned what, okay? Some people are kind of shocked with it, and other ones just are off, and they're off to the race. Are you one of those, okay? Here's the thing. Everybody's going to run I2G at their own speed. I posted tonight, I put our training out because I want to leave you guys with something to think on and ponder as you get the rest of this training tonight. In 8.5 short months, 8.5 short months, do you realize how many lives I2G has changed already? 8.5 months. I want you to really get into that. And if it's been yours, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And then there's a lot of people that I call the fans in the stands. They haven't got affected yet because they haven't got to play yet. They haven't decided how to engage or let go of this to get down on the field and let it rip. And when you do, it's game over. I mean, Richard, we work this calendar so perfect. It's unbelievable. But I want you to think about something. We know what it's like to go get 250, 270, I think it was 276 or something in a couple days, okay, on a cycle. So it can be done. The question is, how much do you want it? With that, Faraday, I think that sums that up. Let's move on with the panel, and obviously I'll come back afterwards. But great job. And by the way, guys, we're proud of everybody, regardless of where you're at and how you're doing it. But we're trying to get the doo-doo off your windshield, okay? Trying to get you to get clear. Because when you get clear, you can go fast. And when you go fast, it's game over. It's life-changing. Back to you, Farrah.
Thanks, Dave. And you guys, I'm so proud of Dave and Richard and Susan. Well, we'll get to the panel next, but you know what? You guys see them speaking so confidently and so masterfully, after what we've achieved with I2G. And Dave's talking about so many people's whose lives have been changed, but probably the biggest one being us. And, I watched Dave and Richard now. I remember not so long ago, a few years ago, when our traditional business we were forced out of. I'm not going to get into all those details, but and we were first coming back together with Richard, and we were going to try this network marketing thing. And I remember Dave telling Richard, Richard, bro, we need to score, bro. We're like has-beens in the industry. And Richard's like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh no, bro, we need to make it. We've been out of the industry. And I mean, it's funny now thinking about that conversation. But he, it's all because of the opportunity. If you're brand new, I hope you're paying close attention, because it is happening for average people. I mean, I2G is changing lives. It's changed our lives. Everybody knows that we have never made this kind of money. I mean, we're making ridiculous money. So it can happen for you. And it is going to, the people I've asked to come on, it's going to happen for them with I2G. I mean, they're already making money with I2G, but they're getting ready to make the kind of money that we're making because of the kind of hard work, because of the commitment, because of the daily methods of operation they are putting into place day in and day out, day in and day out. And I never planned the order of how I'm going to do this, but let me start with this gentleman, Reggie, only because we've already talked about a little bit about what his group is doing in Boston, and how this kind of happened originally from a phone call that happened by accident. And Reggie, a lot of people have heard that story. A lot of people are inspired by that story, including me. But, tonight is a training, and maybe how you can explain a little bit about how you took a phone call that kind of happened by accident and have cultivated that into what is an incredible team inside of a few really short weeks, and an incredible income you've made in the last few weeks as a result of that.
Oh, hey, thank you, Farron, all that you do. I tell you, we appreciate you and Dave so much. You guys are phenomenal. And so, it's just amazing how, teamwork makes the dream work. And when I actually first got involved, it was last year in August, I took a position, which was the smartest thing I could have done. Some people say, well, I'll wait till my finances are right, I'll wait till this. But no, I took a position. And the position I took, I waited, because in all reality, the reason why people never excel to where they want to go is because, one, they don't have a plan. And so, I realized something. You have to have it on paper. It has to be a plan. And then when you have your plan, you definitely have to have an understanding of what you have. You see, the mistake was when I got into I2G, I didn't allow myself to read and become informed about I2G so that I could have been impregnated with the information so that I could deliver this worldwide message called I2G. You see, I simply ignored the information, and therefore I could not deliver what I didn't understand. And it took me all of this time to finally, when I got this mistaken phone call, it was simply because, once again, when you're doing networking, you're always networking. And so, folks, I was doing networking, and I had to put a little ice pack to my head. You got to forgive me. I had to put an ice pack to my jaw. I had to put an ice pack to my lips. Why? Because I had to do all this. I even got a black eye from the industry, folks. Why? Because people are going to tell you no. People are going to say, hey, why should I do that? I'm over here. And that's okay. People's lives change every 3 months. So what you simply do is put that list in place. Folks, how many of you actually have your list on paper? You see, some of you go to your cell phone and you say to yourself, you know what? I'll just go through, and you take your cell phone and you look through it, and you pull up your contacts and you look through and you say, oh, let me choose and pick this one. And you pick this one, and then when you get in a conversation and all of a sudden they start telling you about how their day went at Disney World, you now are off track. You don't have a moment-by-moment description on your success that should be put in front of you, which is your contacts on paper. Take it out of your phone and put it into and on paper. And when you do that, folks, it'll allow you not to even have those kind of situations where you're hoping for success. You see, folks, the reason why I actually got that phone call was because it was simple. I already was positioned by talking to a lineage of networkers, simply finding out where they were, what they were doing. And so, yes, it was accidentally on purpose as to how this situation came about. And when it did, folks, you see, I took the black eye, I took the ice off my eye, folks. I said, you know what? I'm not going to let this stop me. I'm not going to let no one telling me no. You know what? How many people tell me, oh, my goodness, I'm in this deal and I'm making $100,000 in a month. You know what, folks? I didn't let that stop me. I simply said, I'm going to actually share this with them again. And you know what, folks? I tell you what. You think the leaders in Boston or something? I got some situations coming right now that's going to blow your mind. And how, folks? Because I don't simply say what I have in my hand. What you have in your hand, folks, is only cash in hand. You see, folks, why do you think there's such thing as credit? Why do you think credit can outdo cash in the hand? Well, it can, folks, because you can only hold but so much cash in your hand. But credit, folks, credit, you can't even see credit. Credit, folks, goes beyond. So what you have to look at is your people in your future as your credit line. And, folks, you want to cash in on your credit line by activity. And, folks, how do you do that? I always go back to the 4 principles, folks. You have to identify those people, whether they be urchins, whether they love information about I2G, whether they be dolphins, people who like to have fun, whether they be sharks, people who simply are money hungry. They have to see the money. The numbers make sense. And, folks, then you want to have those who love helping people, which are whales. Folks, when you simply take these 4 categories, when I introduce myself to someone, I simply locate where they are. I love to say, how you doing? My name is Reggie. May I ask, what do you do? My favorite line. And what do they do, folks? They're going to say, well, what do you mean? See, folks, you're trying to get people to talk about themselves. And so when I simply ask them, what do they do? So what type of work do you do? And when they tell me what type of work they do, I go into the 5 W's. The who, what, when, why, and where. Folks, notice how I said that. Who, what, when, why, and where. Those are the things you want to simply have people talk 20 minutes about themselves. And, folks, a lot of times I'll just say, oh, man, you know, is your job hiring? And then, you know, they'll tell me, oh, my God, yes, my job is hiring. I make $8 an hour or $9 or $10 an hour. But, oh, my God. You know what? The supervisor gets on my nerves. I go, really? I go, are you making a lot of money there? Is it worth it? You see, folks, all I'm doing is probing. I'm finding out and locating what they need. I'm taking mental notes, folks. And when I take those mental notes, I simply apply them to the turnaround. I call it the comeback. I call it the 2-minute Tom Brady comeback. Folks, that's how you do it. You simply come back and tell them, you say, you know what, folks? I say, listen, I actually used to be in that position. I asked that question because financially, I've actually now moved over 5 figures a week, and I wake up, I wake up when I finish sleeping. And, folks, that is no more joy than that. You wake up when you finish sleeping. Folks, that is the kind of introduction you want to introduce people to in I2G. And as a result of that, you know, when I introduced it, here's the deal. Here's the deal. is called teamwork. Remember, I mentioned that in the very beginning. You see, teamwork was that thing that you're going to need from none other like the Richard Azalonis and the Susan Azalonis. Why? Because they actually go, folks, they travel the world. How many people you know that say, hey, you know what, you got a team in Boston? Well, let me just go. And folks, let me tell you, they went to Boston. Faraday and Dave, they went to Boston. And what did they do? They caused the Boston Tea Party. Folks, this is bananas. I never seen anything like it. You got to put yourself in place in I2G. Don't sit there and listen to what nobody else has to say. These are the arenas where people are making money. Okay, I have one thing to say. I know you're going to have a lot of pastors, a lot of people that are in the ministry saying, oh my God, it's gambling. Well, let me set the record straight. The very banks that you go to call B of you know what, called Wells of you know what. Well, folks, what are these institutions? They are usury. They actually do the things necessary to stay in business. They even get fined for being out of line. But you know what, folks? All of those things actually probe your life, and you're involved in a gambling situation every day. But you see, under the law of what you're thinking, you're not going into the wealth of the wicked to take it back so that it can be used for good purposes. So if you talk to me, I promise you, I will give you what you need in understanding and wisdom about how to go in, utilize this platform that, folks, remember, putting a chip on the table and swinging the thing down, that's not bad. Money by itself is not bad. It's what you do with money. It's what you do as long as you don't make it your source. And folks, take what we're saying right now, utilize the situation where people can have massive success. You know, the funny thing is, I got a text this morning. Some guy said, oh my God, you know, why should I do that company? But, you know, can you lend me a few dollars? I said, you know what? Do the business and you have your own dollars. You see, folks, that's what I2G provides. It provides access and success. That's right, folks, access and success. And with that, my name is Reggie Williams in Hot Atlanta. We're about to set it on fire here, and I'll turn it back over to you, Faraday.
I love it, Reggie. And that is fantastic. I love that. The urchins, the dolphins, the sharks, and the whales. So, and the who, what, where, when, and why. And, you know, I was going to go next to Ronnie and Al, but now that you did the who, what, when, where, and why, I think I'm going to go to Rob next because, you know, he has got, Rob Markey has earned already millions in this industry. He's been in this industry for a long time. He's seen something very special that's set apart from everything with I2G. But when I talk to him, I'm always learning something new. And, you know, Reggie said some really key things with the who, what, when, where, or why, you know, which is engaging with people, which is what we're doing every day with social media. The only difference is, you know, Reggie doesn't separate whether it's social media or whether it's not, or whether it's the waitress that you meet at the restaurant that you're eating at, or where you're getting your hair cut. And Rob is the same way. Rob, as a matter of fact, when I met him in Orlando, I don't think I saw anybody get more phone numbers of the people that are working at the hotel staff than actually Rob, putting it into action. And definitely passion is something that all of these leaders have in common. But Rob, you know, can you add to everything that, first of all, maybe comment on the information that Reggie shared, and then maybe give us your own little flair and style for our audience that they can take to the market and put into application.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for being a panelist. And Reggie, you're super, 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 super. We're very much in tune and in line with our thinking. And I'm going to tone it back a little bit because with your overwhelming enthusiasm, if I jump on a bandwagon, we're going to drown people. So thank you for that, man. Couple things that, you know, Reggie said, and us old-timers, he's a lot younger than I am. But one of the things I want to tell you, I talked to my team today. I had some people come down. Patty drove down from Daytona again this weekend. I'm doing a call tomorrow. and I'll invite everybody to that call. And one of the things I said is I think there are 316 emperor positions left. I want 100 for myself and my team. 100. And I want them by the end of this month. I gave the marching orders to my team. I only have about 7 people on. By probably tomorrow night or Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll have about 25. So everyone needs to get 4 or 5 on a team. The other thing I did is I built a spreadsheet, and I put all of the people that I believe can afford $5,000. I put the names and phone numbers. See, Reggie, we think alike, big boy. See that? Names and phone numbers in print, okay? I also tell everybody on my team that by tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock, I want a minimum of 200 names, phone numbers, email addresses, and then we're going to go over it. They need to send it to me, so I have a copy, they have a copy. We're going to go over their top 25 people. We're going to go after them immediately this week. And the other thing that does for people is, if in fact they decide to leave the business because they're ignorant or whatever other reason, okay, then I have 10 times, 20 times 200 names is 2,400 leads that I can call and say, just because Charlie left the business, I don't want you to miss out on an opportunity that I personally think is the greatest opportunity in the world, okay? So I will call those people and recruit them into the business. The other thing is, we all know this, we're all veterans, get a memory jogger into your people's hands. I sent one out yesterday when I had some people say, Rob, I only know 190 people, you're looking for 200, and I say preferably 2,000. And when I gave them the memory jogger, guess what? Every person or every category of person on that memory jogger, they came up with 5 additional names. So now some of them are going towards their 2,000 person list, which I basically request that they do if they want to make money. Another thing I personally do to train people is, if you want to work with me, you must have a digital recording device. I don't care if it's $10, I don't care if it's your phone. When I talk to you, I want you to record so that you can remember, and when you're walking your dog, when you're on your treadmill, you learn, you turn your car into a drive time university, you share it with everybody else, and I don't have to repeat myself 5 times, okay? The other thing is, Reggie, good point about the churches. Went to a couple churches, and some of them were very, very open. Of course, I talked to a lot of aspiring singers, choir singers, about using Songstagram. They loved it. They now went to the head bishop and the elders, and I talked with them, and they said, well, you know, Rob, in God's kingdom, gambling is kind of a no-no. So I said, really? The last dinner I went to, I believe you guys had a 50-50.
That's right.
Is that not gambling? So you are the pastor, you are the elders. Do not lie to me in front of these people. Is that considered gambling? So you no longer have anything to stand on. And if I could show you how to generate 25 grand a month to help the parish and buy the equipment, the audio equipment and the video equipment, I will gladly do that. If you want me to put it in somebody's name in your parish, I'll put it in my dog's name. I have 2 dogs. I will do that for you. And I will turn over the money as a charitable donation. I will be the bad guy. But when I pay for all of the equipment that you need, $250,000, and I build an add-on to the church, and I help you pay for your note on this building, call me a bad guy. Say, I'm the guy who basically brought money into the church because of gambling. I'm the guy who brought it in because of music. I'm the guy who brought it in because of Songstagram. Say whatever you want. But we'll get the thing done. We'll build God's kingdom. We'll expand it. And money is not the root of all evil. People are the root of all evil. Because I'm a pretty good guy. I built a couple churches. I paid for the missionaries. And I'm not a bad guy, I don't think. A lot of people in the church don't think I'm a bad guy. So let's get over it, folks. You know, and like they're always telling me, let it go. I said, held up a mirror, said, you all need to let it go. And let's get the program working. Let's get everybody out there. We can use the Songstagram to reach people that are at home or in a hospital with your messages and your services. So there's let's look at all of the good we can do versus the negative or the small amount of negative. So just want to tell you that my team is poised and ready. I am no longer rebuilding this guy's house. So I will be 24 hours a day. And my goal is to get three emperors per day. Myself. 3. God bless. Back to you guys.
All right. And thank you, Rob. We might come back with some questions, but what I'm going to tell you guys is you better get to work on these Emperor packages, because Rob's team is planning on taking 100, and that doesn't include Al and Ronnie, who are in in Rob's upline. And, you know, I want my hands on some of those too. So, hey, Al and Ronnie, you were telling me about some of your plans here in the coming week and weeks to grab some of those Emperor packs. You must put a big smile on your face to hear about Rob's commitment, and he's committing to getting his team 100 of them.
It's funny, Rob, because we were just saying a week ago when we heard about how many Emperor spots were left. I said, man, I said, we need to secure at least 100 of those positions. And I think, Rob, that might have been just before you even came into the program. So, you know, we're really excited about this. Richard and I, we had this conversation coming into the month. Richard asked me if I wanted to try to cycle 125 times this month. And I said, Richard, are you kidding me? Me, of all people, do you think you really got to ask me that? I'm the last person you should be concerned about. Do I want to cycle 125 times? I want 250 or more. But here's what's so exciting about this is that after Richard had that conversation with me, guess what I did? I went to my leaders and I put the heat on them, because I'm going to hold them accountable for coming up with so many emperors in their organization. And what we're going back saying, well, hey, we got to go back to the drawing board, and we got to make sure that everybody show a sense of urgency on getting people in the program. You know, in other words, everybody should be able to go get 2 in 24 hours. And we're talking about 2 emperors. Go get 2 emperors in 24 hours. And then let's focus on what we do is say, hey, you're a brand new person. You should have 10 cycles in your first week. So if you got 10 cycles in your first week, well, evidently, you know what it takes to get 10 cycles. Either you're going to do 2 emperors, or you're going to need a heck of a lot more people. It's much easier to go get 2 emperors and have the 10 cycles than to try to go figure out getting them with the high rollers. So we're telling everybody, hey, get positioned, because we're not going to even recognize you as officially being a member until you got your 2, 1 emperor on your left, 1 emperor on your right. And we're going to make a big deal out of it, because when you get on the team call, we're going to cheer you on, and we're going to make a lot of noise about you getting qualified with an emperor on your right, an emperor on your left. When you show up at the opportunity meeting, guess what? You get to sit on the front row if you qualify. But if you ain't qualified, you can sit at the back with the rest of the heat. But we're gonna make it something real special, because the bottom line, 2 people love you enough to do this business with you. You ain't gotta have no system in play. You don't have to know anything. You don't even have to have a list made, Reggie, in order to go get 2 people. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that everyone knows that it's a big deal to go get those 2 emperors in 24 hours. And by the end of that week, you had better be qualified. Otherwise, you know, you're not looked at as one of the team yet. You're not part of the team until you've done that minimum qualification. And I'm saying that's asking the bare bone minimum of you. But what if everybody went out and got 2 and they showed a sense of urgency of doing it? Not taking your own sweet time. Anybody can go do it in 30 days. Anybody can go get 2. If they have any ambition, any drive whatsoever, they can go get 2 in 30 days. But we're talking about going and getting 2 in 24 hours. And I truly believe that we talk about it enough. Guess what? Some people are going to believe us, and they're going to go out and do it. But you know, the reality is that everybody's going to think they can't do it in the beginning. But when we start talking about all the people who are coming up with their first 2 in 24 hours, it's going to be accepted that that's the norm. And now people are going to go do it. But we got to get excited about it. We got to make a big deal about everything we do. Every tiny bit of success that they get, we got to make a big, big deal out of it. You know, I'm not telling you to go put 50 on your front line. I'm saying go get 2, and let's show a sense of urgency in doing it. And I tell you what, you know, I'm sitting back and I'm looking at these cycles. I'm saying, well, 125 cycles in 30 days. It's really not a big deal when you look at it, because it's not you going out doing it all by yourself. It's about leveraging your team. If you leverage the team, it's going to be real easy to hit the 125, to hit the 250, to hit the 1,000 if we leverage in the team. But if you're out here just trying to recruit it all by yourself, yeah, it's very difficult. But we're talking about leveraging the team. Let's make sure everyone play their part. And when they accomplish their role in this whole big formula of things, we want them to experience some success. And they're not going to experience success unless we take the time and really put a little bit of pressure on them, make them feel a little bit uncomfortable. It's okay to feel a little bit uncomfortable to get to where we need to be. I'm not going to sit back with that I have arrived type mentality this early in the game. I know I'm a long way from where I need to be. And I need to help a whole lot of people get to where they need to be. And we start out by making it a team effort. This is about the team. Hey, what did the team accomplish this month? And everybody, we want everyone to be viewed we want everyone to be viewed as a leader from their team, from them down. It's important for them to be viewed as the leader. And the only way they're going to be viewed as the leader is if they're doing something in their business. If they're not doing something in their business, how can the people from them down ever view them as a leader if they're not doing anything in their business? It's not about just sitting back waiting on something to drip on you from the top. That's not what this is about. This is about everybody leading by example. And I tell you what, if you want your team to recruit, you had better be recruiting. You got to be recruiting if you want them to recruit. And that's what I love about you and Dave Faraday and all of you guys and Richard and Susan. You guys are still building your team. And someone in your position, you know, to hear you guys say that you don't sponsor 300 people, the first thing I told Ronnie, I said, you know what? I'm not going to be content until I got 300 directs. Because that's what the top leaders have done. Well, guess what? I need to be trying to pass them up. That's what I need to be trying to do. And so I'm going out here and I'm doing what I got to do. And I tell you what, I'm going to do it with a smile on my face. Right?
And also what else has worked for us, Faraday, is going back to the existing affiliates who have taken a novice position, who have taken a high roller position, and we've gone back to them and asked them to become an emperor. That has made it even easier for us rather than going out to get fresh blood. We've gone back to the existing organization that has grown with us, have seen a few results already. They took the high roller, they created another high roller. Now there's one cycle right there. They saw some result. They believe in us now. They know that we are going to help them build it, so they've easily upgraded. So in that sense, we have got a number of people who have upgraded from within the organization, and that's why we've gotten so many emperors right away.
And Faraday, I'm going to say this in closing. It is much easier to give birth than to raise the dead. We ain't here to raise the dead. But I tell you what, you know, GNP is the name of the game. Get new people. That's the name of the game. So I will replace somebody so quickly. If they don't want to do anything, I'm not going to beg them. I'll replace them.
I love that. I mean, my guess, from what I've heard tonight from all of the panelists and Richard and Dave, I mean, it is a multi-million dollar training. But there is one thing I would like to touch on, and I'd like to get Rob's feedback also, because you talked about keeping your people accountable. Now, I talked to Rob, and you know, and he was sharing with me some of the tough love that he does with his team to keep them accountable. And Rob, maybe you can share that, because sometimes you got to have a trainer, a mentor that's willing to give a little tough love.
Well, I'll give you an example. Patty, we all know Patty, and I love her. I've grown to love her. She's great. She's from Daytona and so on and so forth. And she came down and she helped with Facebook training for us and some other things, which was incredible. And then we were talking about some things, and she told me, guys are always checking her out because she's good looking and everything. And I said, well, you just shut that down and you talk about business. So I said, Patty, if you really want to grow in this business, you need to get an accountability coach. So when she left my home, she texted me back and she said, would you be my accountability coach? And I said, do you know what you're getting yourself in with and into? I said, I'm like a prison guard. And, the first thing I said, you need to change your voicemail message. That's garbage. That's not professional. And you're basically leading people on your Facebook. When you communicate with somebody, when they say, hey, I'd like to talk to you because you're a good-looking woman, you shut them down and say, I'm a businesswoman, I'm a professional, and you get to the straight and narrow. So Patty, very affectionately and very flattering, sent me a text message yesterday, and she said, I've been in this industry for quite a long time, but since you've become my accountability coach in the last 3 days and you've been kicking my butt all over the place, I've done more and accomplished more in 3 days than I have in 20 years. So whatever it was. So other people, I call them and I say, now I will call people at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. I just don't care. And I apologize to Al and Ronnie because I forget they're in California all the time. And I'll call them 6 o'clock my time. It's 3 o'clock their time. But, I'm demanding, but I'm also tough on people. And I'll call people 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'll just play the Sylvester Stallone Rambo tape, the Rocky tape. And then they'll go, are you out of your mind? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, well, now that I got you up and I got the adrenaline pumping, let's talk about what you're going to do today. And they're like, what? You don't have a plan? You don't know how many people you're going to call? Every time you call somebody, I want you to call me back. And every time you call somebody and you don't call me to get me or Ronnie or Al or somebody on a three-way, there's going to be hell to pay. And then I said, we're going to select a card, and depending upon who has the highest hand, will give me who has the lowest hand will give me $100. So there's going to be some things at stake here. But if you do things well, I'm also going to give you some special gifts. Maybe an extra 50, maybe an extra 100, maybe I'll send you a ring, because I used to be in the jewelry business. So there's always surprises going on, but I truly believe that you need to have a plan, work your plan your work, and that's the way you become successful. And I'll talk to people like Patty. Patty has to, and I told her the other day, take 25 quarters, put them in your left pocket or whatever, and do not go to sleep until you move those 25 quarters to your right pocket. This is old school network marketing, because you have to talk to 25 people a day or whatever. And Patty said to me, well, I only talked to 21. So I said, well, what are you talking to me for? I hung up the phone. I said, go get 4 more. So now Patty is exceeding that because she's doing 39, 37, blah, blah, blah. And I said, Patty, if you want to do 25 a day, which is a good mark to target, 7 days, if you work in 7 days, is 175. Now, there's no reason for you to work on a Sunday unless you come across somebody, if that's your day of rest and you honor God's day. However, you can do 55 in one day, and that'll let you off the hook for 4 or 5 the next day, as long as you average your 175 a week. Okay? So Patty's falling in line. She's doing some things. She's talking to some people. just as Reggie said, I'm all about asking questions because, you know, I ask people a definition of sales. And the definition of sales is very, very simple. People can talk about advertising, they can talk about marketing, they can talk about packaging. There is a very simple definition of sales. It is identifying the need and satisfying the need. That is it. So if somebody needs to make extra money, find out, as Reggie said, ask a question, how much are you looking to make? $300 a week. Let me show you how to do that. How much are you looking to make? $1,200 a week. Let me show you how to do that. So identify the need by asking a question, engage the people. People are motivated by two things, both starting with a P, pleasure or pain. You have to make people speak their pain points because then they feel them. If you don't make people speak their pain points, they will never, ever take action. Simple. 43 years in this industry, learned a little bit about how to motivate people, and it works. So back to you, Farah and Dave and everybody and all the panelists. Thank you for imparting your knowledge to me. I love you all, and thank you so much.
Yeah, fantastic. Just one more thing, Rob. You were sharing with me the other day. Of course, I told you, you know, I said it's so important for people to get new guests on the Hangouts. And I said, you know, that I put out an email that said to everybody, look at this as if I was going to give you $1,000 for every new guest that you got on the Hangout. Because, you know, in effect, you can actually be earning so much more. Now, you took it a step further because you told me you do tell your team, you know, that you're gonna you share with me because I was like oh but if I didn't give them the $1,000 they would be mad at me. Now you said you let them be mad. This is all part of the tough love. Now share that with everybody because I would love everybody to understand how important this is, getting people to your live events, to your Hangouts, to the conference call, webinar, whatever tool you're using to expose people.
I used to do a thing, and I still do it now, dialing for dollars. Now, a lot of people, when you ask them, how many phone calls did you make? Oh, I can only make 13. All right. Well, every phone call that you make or every person you invite to a Hangout or to a webinar or to a conference call, I'm going to give you $25 or $100. And now, all of a sudden, the numbers go from 13, where they were struggling, to 261, and then they text me and say, Rob, you owe me, you know, $860. And I say, great. How would you like me to pay you? Cash, check, Visa? I mean, how you have Square? How are you going to pay it? And they say cash would be good, or a check, or direct deposit. And I say, well, once you and I get on the phone and we sign them up, it's actually going to be more than that because you will earn more than the $25 or the $100 per person. And then they're like, but you told me you were going to do this. I am going to do this when you reciprocate and do back and follow up like I told you to. And it will be more than that. And then I say, teach your people to do that. So I now have some people saying, Rob will give you $25 for every person that you basically do beyond 50 calls or whatever, or get on a Hangout. So it's basically, when people understand that and they see the real value versus $10 for a phone call, or $25, that you could earn a passive residual income for life on these people, and they're going to bring people in, and they're going to do what you're teaching, which is the perfect replication, duplication cycle. It just perpetuates itself, and people go, all right, I'm mad at you because you didn't give me the $800, but I love you because I made $12,000 last week. So basically, you justify it any way you need to.
That is fantastic, and you know, hey Dave, can you comment on that, or
Yeah.
you know, yeah, and everything's been so phenomenal that we've heard tonight. I'm sure Dave, you have a lot of feedback on all of the great training we've got for everybody tonight.
Yeah, I sure do. As a matter of fact, it's so great to be on these trainings now. Only 8.5 months in. Only 8.5 months, and to have panelists like this. See, guys, there's a couple differences here. You have their attitude. You have their want to. I can remember hearing Ronnie and Al coming on the call and telling us what they're going to make, what their commitment level was. You remember that? It was only a few months ago, guys. Probably 8 weeks ago or something. Okay? Go back to the archives and find that. Okay? And then you'll understand about his conviction, because they're not only talkers, they're doers. Reggie, perfect example. Here he comes. Storming out the gate. Been sitting in the back, watching what's going on, whatever it was. The timing wasn't right. Reggie's perfect example. Get out of his way. He's committed. He's made it vocal. He's made it personal. He's put it out to his team. He's put it out to his colleagues what he's going to go do. Okay? Rob, perfect example. When we met Rob, it was unbelievable. We drove to Orlando. I'll never forget when we met him, and learned a lot from him, actually, that night. And to watch a guy that's got more time in the industry than even myself putting this type of commitment out, and to do this type of training, guys, let me share something with you. The training that you got here tonight is absolutely priceless, or, once again, useless if you choose not to do anything with it. If you don't apply, you're not going to get any of this. Again, if you don't apply, you don't get it. See, 8.5 months ago when we set out on this journey, we had 0 on the right, 0 on the left, and we didn't care who said yes and we didn't care who said no. We put our head down and we gravitated to what Ronnie, what Rob, what Reggie, they're talking about, how to go get this 314, how they want their piece. We started out, we had the whole 5,000. And to be honest, I made some pretty heavy claims. I know that Rick kind of probably thought, oh boy, and but needless to say, as he said in Boston publicly, we've done more than he ever thought was going to get done. And we haven't even gotten started, guys. Here's the deal. I don't know where you are in your I2G business if you don't reach out to us, but there's 2 types of people. There's the fan and the player. The deal is, how do you get on the field? And the deal is, none of us got started. We all started in the stands. We've all started there. We've all been there. The difference is to make the decision that, look, today's the day. I've had it. I've had enough. And damn it, I'm going to put my foot down and I'm going to start applying some of this stuff. See, our last, I'm going to say probably 7 or 8 trainings have been absolutely priceless. I advertise on my wall for other networkers to come watch this training, because I don't care even if they don't do I2G. They're not going to get this training anywhere. My mentor is so proud of me. He's in Bangkok right now. He can't even believe it, because what we've done around the globe in 8.5 months is just unbelievable. And on top of it, we've affected 300 families at over the 5-figure mark that we've been attempted to do. Remember, January 1st, we set out on a journey. 1,000 families, 10K a month. Okay? Obviously, we've got a lot more, some of them doing a lot more than that. But I want you to ask yourself this, because I know when people used to talk that number to me, and I was a plumber, I was a general contractor, and working my ass off to make, 800, 900, 1,000 bucks a week. When people talk those numbers, I used to get upset. I never thought that I could comprehend those numbers. Guys, the only difference between that number and the number in your head is the blockage that you have right here. Because I'm going to be honest with you, it's easier to make more money now than it is to even think about it in the other end. I was talking with my brother today, and I was laughing because he says, you're never going to use your boat. Why'd you get it running? You haven't been out in it. And they're laughing at me because they know I got the toys. And I said, dude, when the pipe is hot, when the iron is hot, you run this bad boy and you run it like never. Because, see, the speed of the pack only runs at the speed of the leader, okay? They're only going to follow what we share with you, what we go do. I don't get leaders like this to come and just think they're going to come see and hang out with Dave and Farrah and Richard. You know, they say some stuff. I got some private chat going back here, 300s minimum and everything else. Those are the kind of guys that I want to talk to, okay? They want to personally sponsor those kind of people because they also know that when they sponsor that many, they'll probably not have very many, maybe only on two hands, 10 that will really step up and do it. The rest of them weed themselves out. So you need to figure out how fast you want to grow roses in your rose garden. Because roses don't grow in weeds, and if you surround your mind with a bunch of weeds, a bunch of drama, a bunch of everything that's not going to produce you any income, chances are you're going to have some lousy looking rose bushes. And I don't know about you, but I love big, beautiful roses on ACOM manicured and ACOM 2 kit gloves. Guys, the training that you've got here tonight in the last 7 or 8 weeks has just been unbelievable. A panel, I'm just humbled with you. I watch what's going on. And as I sat here, it dawned on me. Because I remember you hearing these commitments. And, you know, we have a lot of people that have made these commitments, and a lot of them don't quite stick to them. You probably have them in your teams, okay? That's okay. That's why we always ask you what your why is and what your want to is. And see, when you get that straight and then understand the only way you're going to get it, it's one thing to think about it. It's another thing to get at it. And that's the application that you're hearing about here tonight. I'm so tickled when I see that Rob hold up the paper, Reggie talking about it, getting down. And you're right, because, you know, as you go through your phone, you pick and choose who you want to talk to. And the problem is you have so many people in there that you probably don't call because they're on your chicken list. You don't want to talk to them. Why? Put us on the phone, guys, because when you do that, we will bust it down. And when you put it on paper, see, what I like is you've got to cross that name out. And if that name's not crossed out, I guarantee you that Reggie or Rob are going to ask you why. Okay? And I love guys that play hardball, guys, because you know what? They're tired. They just want it for you as bad as they want it for themselves. They want it for you. And that's why, and everybody knows I don't coddle anybody. If you want a massage, you want all the other stuff, I'm not your guy. I'm right to the point. Go get it. You can have it. It's yours. This training and the last few trainings could literally change your life. People that don't replay these got to be able. Guys, I'm overwhelmed with all of you. I really am. I'm glad to work with committed people. You're awesome, and I couldn't be more honored to march on with you guys and kill this thing with I2G. And you too, Faraday, because you were just absolutely awesome, and you just do such a killer job. By the way, guys, I want to bring something up. I also noticed this during the training, and I laughed, because Reggie makes a great point about it, but Rob has too, and so has Al and Ronnie. You know, and Richard. You know that none of these guys even knew what a hangout was when they got started with I2G. Do you guys know that they understand the power of the hangout now? I guarantee you when you ask them about the power of the hangout, it blows everything else out of the way. Reggie, I know, is off the charts with Hangouts, okay? He was just floored with that thing. He's like, oh, my God, you just push the buttons and we go global? And then after he got to watch it, he's like, are you kidding me? And, you know, Ryle and Ronnie, I know just last week we had this great talk, and you guys are understanding the power. And, Rob, I know you got it when we did them and watched what was happening. And obviously, and Richard just gets Richard, and we're rocking and rolling. But I laugh because all the top money earners, guys, in our company didn't know what social media was, didn't hardly know what any of this stuff was, and look where they're at. Why not you? Is the only question I have to share with you. And with that, Faraday, back to you. You've taken enough time. Thanks so much, everybody, and we look forward to whacking it out with you, man. Let's go get it. I2G, baby. Let's kill it. Back to you, Faraday. Awesome job, panel.
Yeah, wow. I'm definitely going to be replaying this training tonight. And actually, I mean, I hear this training, and honestly, it makes me want to cry, because this is the type of training I needed when I first got in this industry, and I was like left to fend for myself, just wanting some direction. And guys, these fantastic panelists tonight, Robin, Alan, Ronnie, and Reggie, Richard, Dave, they are laying it out for you. The key to your success, everything you possibly need to be successful, you can dissect it from this training tonight. So they're taking an incredible amount of time from their schedule to help you to be successful. And I thank you guys. You know, you're helping many other teams, and some of them are on your team and some of them are on other teams. But they're taking that time to help all of you guys. So I certainly hope that you take the information and you take it to heart. And like Dave said, the most important thing is that you apply it. And then I was going to have Richard say a final word before we closed out. Richard, are you still there? He's probably on the phone on the other line, because he heard Alan Ronnie say they were taking 100. Oh no, they heard Rob say he's taking 100 Emperor spots. And Richard said, "Oh no, I gotta get on the phone." All right, guys. You know what? We've been on here over an hour. It's Superpower Hour. We've been on here an hour and 10 minutes. I could stay on here and learn from these guys all night. I mean, I could do like a marathon training session with these trainers. But we know it's a Sunday, and we want you to be able to get back and get into action and get a few of these Emperor spots for yourself and your team. Because I guarantee you are going to regret it if you don't. You want those Emperor spots in your team. And, for those of you who have not stepped up to get the Emperor pack, I think everybody who does not get it will regret it, because Phase 2 is right around the corner. And I'm just saying, if it's at all possible to get that Emperor spot, I would do it. And I will say, I think if you don't, you're going to regret it. And since Richard didn't come back, I know he's on the phone. You little stinker, you're trying to beat everybody to the punch, Richard. So with that, anyway, I want to thank you guys. I love you guys. I appreciate it, and I learned from you all. And we'll be back with you guys on the next Hangout this week. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us tonight. And we'll see you guys on the very next Hangout. Thank you, everybody. Good night.